Yeah.
So today we are interested in the declaration also. So far we have seen declaration is no more in any of the program, but today class you will see declaration part also. Before going to the declaration part in more details, you just remember this, whichever method is declared, that method is known as unimplemented method. What we used to say?
And
Unimplemented method. Whichever method is defined, those methods are known as unimplemented method. Whichever method is
okay.
defined, that is known as implemented method. So from now onwards, I will be frequently using these two words, unimplemented and implemented. You must have to remember unimplemented in the sense declaration which is having semicolon, implemented in the sense which is not having semicolon or which is having definition.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now abstract classes came in picture to deal with this unimplemented method itself. Why we need abstract class? What is the purpose of abstract class? What is the meaning of this unimplemented method? I will tell you each and every point later once I will finish the abstract class, the application. I want you to first understand the concept of abstract class, what exactly it is. Okay?
Okay.
Fine. So we are defining the abstract class. It is a collection of implemented method as well as unimplemented method. Now, I have created a very simple class called A. Like all class, I have created one class with the name of A here. Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, what I did, I have created one method here and I have kept the semicolon, that is nothing but your unimplemented method. As I told
Yeah.
you, Java is not supporting the unimplemented method. So you can see here you are getting a error, and that error is saying to you this method requires a body instead of semicolon. Yes or no? So actually
Yeah.
I'm supposed to write like this way. This is the actual way of writing the
Method.
method. But now I am not interested in the definition. I am interested in this declaration.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want this types of method, then first of all, compiler is saying to you, make your class as a abstract. This is the first condition given by the compiler once you are using any unimplemented method. After that, the problem is still the error is there. Now what to do? You have to use the abstract keyword on the top of this method also. So this abstract keyword should go for a class also as well as a method also.
Method.
Now you can
Okay.
see your compile time error is resolved. Again, I'm going to remind you, don't think why we require this abstract. I will be giving you the very clear picture by delivering one real-time example. Okay? So you just
Okay.
get the concept now what I'm delivering to you. So now abstract class can hold the unimplemented. It's not like that. You can put the definition in the sense implemented method also. In abstract class, we can keep both method, implemented method as well as unimplemented method. That's the reason we are defining the abstract class. It is a collection of implemented method as well as unimplemented method.
Unimplemented.
And you can make this unimplemented by using the abstract keyword.
Okay.
Proceed further. Just like a normal class, you can run this abstract class. You can put the main method because for running purpose, we require the main method, and you can put
Main
main
method.
method. You are still able to run this program and you will see the output as a main. No problem. But again, one small restrictions is there, and that restriction is you should not allow to create the object of
A
that
class.
class. This is the very
Okay.
important. You can't create object of abstract class. That's the reason you are
Mm-hmm.
getting error here. If you bring your cursor here, it will tell you cannot instantiate the type A. So you should not allow to instantiate this.
Okay.
Now we have this part later discussion. Still I am going to concentrate these parts. Since it is a class, so you can still apply the inheritance concept here. Means
Mm-hmm.
any class can extend this abstract class also. Now see what will be if I extend this abstract class. And this mistake is done by the B class. So what this B class did, he
It
extended the
extends. Okay.
A class which is
A
already one of
class.
the abstract class.
Okay.
Once you extend any abstract class with the normal class, it is not abstract class, it is a normal class. Then you will get compile time error. What is the contract of abstract class? Try to understand that. Abstract class is saying whoever will extend me, whoever will inherit me, their responsibility is to override the unimplemented method of my class. Do you remember the override? Same method in superclass and same method in child class. Last class itself we have seen the method overriding.
Yeah.
So whatever method is unimplemented here, which is declared here, abstract class is saying to you, if you extend me, you have to override. So what is the method here? This method is void test. So you have to define this method like this way. Until you will not define this, you will be getting the error. This is the rule of abstract class. It's the contract of abstract class.
Okay.
For definition wala
Okay.
method, it's optional. For test one, if you want to override, override. Otherwise, you can skip this because it's already defined. Problem is with this
Mm.
declaration. Whoever is declaration
Okay.
that is unimplemented and declared method should must be override like this way. Again, let me remind you, if this method is having the public keyword here, you must have to use the public here because I told you signature should be same for all
Same.
method during overriding.
Or writing. Yeah.
If that method is having an integer argument, then make sure that you have to give the
It's
integer
also.
argument here, unless you will get error here. Can you see here? You are getting a error here. Once you will give I, you can change anything, no problem. It's a variable, but argument data type should must be same. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is the rule of abstract class. Let me remind you once again. Normal class cannot have declared method or unimplemented method. Abstract class is a collection of implemented method as well as unimplemented method. Second rule, abstract class, whichever class is holding unimplemented, that method should must be, that class should also be abstract and that method should also hold the abstract. Next point, abstract class object you can't create, but you can still run the abstract class by keeping the main method because abstract classes allow definition of method also and main method is already a defined method. Clear?
Yeah. This is clear.
Are you getting or I'm going so fast? Is it
No,
okay?
no, no. Yeah, it's okay.
Now,
So one doubt is, I mean, the main method, can it be an abstract method?
if you remember, then I told you during the first program itself, you should not allow to change anything into the main method. That is fixed content.
Okay.
If you modify anything, then JVM will simply tell you there is no main method inside your program. That is predefined
Oh, okay.
static method. So anything you
Okay.
are not allowed to change into the main method. Main method should be as it is. If you modify it, you can still do this. You can put the main method as a declared, but make sure that that will be not considered as a running main method. Compiler will
Okay.
it is just a user defined method for you. Okay, but you will not get any
Yeah.
runtime error. You can do this thing. You can overload the main method
Okay.
also. If you remember the overloading, you can keep
Uh-huh.
overloading the main method also. That will not create any problem. But whatever method is with
Okay.
complete signature, public, static, void, main, string, array argument, that will be the actual main method of your class.
Okay.
By the same main, you can give a number. So in this class also we can give just main. It is not a problem. But it is not your main method that JVM is looking for. It is just a user-defined method for you. Understanding or not?
Correct.
So method name is
Yeah.
identified. You can give anything. Any more doubt?
No.
Okay. Then I told you whoever class is going to extend the inherit class, I mean abstract class, they must have to override those methods that methods are unimplemented there. So if this abstract class is holding the three method which is unimplemented, let's assume we have one more method abstract void test2, then make sure that you will again start getting error here. Why? Because you have to override the test2 also.
Avoid test2.
Yes, until you will not
Okay.
override the all unimplemented method of this abstract class, the child class will be start getting the error. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So if it is having the 100 method as a unimplemented, then whether we have to write like test1, test2, test3, test4, it's lengthy, right? Again, if you are in Eclipse, then you no need to bother about this. Once you will get error, then bring your cursor onto the error and click on this. It will tell you add unimplemented method, and this side window is saying you have two pending method to override, that is test and test2, and if you click on this, Eclipse will do the all unimplemented method to be implemented.
Okay.
It is going
Okay.
to do the all manually.
Uh-huh.
Got it?
Yeah.
Any question?
No.
No. So this is the basic concept of abstract class you need to remember. But what will be if one abstract class is extending the another abstract class? Look at this point. What I'm going to do, A class is already abstract class, which is holding the two unimplemented method and one
Correct.
implemented method. See,
Yeah.
B.java was not abstract class, so their tragedy was to override these two methods. If you not override,
Mm-hmm.
you will get an error.
Correct.
This rule is not applicable on the abstract class. Once any abstract class is extending the another abstract class, then compiler is not forcing that class. Why? Because the C class is saying, hello, I am also abstract class. I have authority to override the method also, or I can skip that overriding. I can keep declared itself. Because you know, abstract class is a collection of both implemented and unimplemented.
Unimplemented.
So here compiler is not going to get any error, not going to give any error because C class is abstract class. It depends on the C class whether you want to override or not. If C class is not overriding the two method of this A class and someone is extending this C class, and that is nothing but your D class, then D class will be start getting error. Why? Because C class
Yeah.
is abstract class.
C is in abstract class. That's
And
true.
what D class is thinking, this C class is having only one method, let me override that method only. But no, still you are getting error. Why? Because
Oh.
C class is
Even A
extending
class
the
has.
A, and A is already
Yeah.
having the two unimplemented method. So if you click on this
Mm-hmm.
error, then it will suggest you, click on this. What is
Okay.
saying? You have a three methods
Okay. C.
extending C class ka test3 and test2 from A class. So if you click on this, all these three methods will be overrided. I
Okay.
just want to tell you, one abstract class can also extend another abstract class, but in that case, whoever is the normal child class, they have to take care for the all unimplemented method of that class.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. this is the part you need to take care. But at the same time, there is one question coming, very important question, and here the 90% freshers are going to be, not giving the proper answer. They are going to talk, and that question is nothing but, we can keep constructor inside abstract class or not. As you can see, last class, if you remember the constructor concept, then you can understand properly. I told you constructor is a concept which is going to automatically execute once you are going to create a object. Yes or no?
Correct.
But in this case, you kept constructor here, and we are not going to create any object of this class, then how this constructor will execute?
Okay.
So answer is very simple. Once you create the object of their child class, then with the help of your child class constructor, your super class constructor will also execute. Let's run this. You will see the F class constructor also. Are you able to see?
Both. Okay. G and.
Yes.
Okay.
Because F class is abstract class. We can't create object of this F class, but still I need to execute
Correct.
it. Then what I did, I extend this to the F class, and now I'm creating the G class object. This G class object constructor is calling the super class constructor also. And how it is calling, also one of the point here, in the constructor last week, I told you one point. The first statement of every constructor is super. I will show you.
Super. Correct.
If you open the constructor wala folder, then under constructor you will found the last statement of every constructor. The first statement actually. The first statement of every constructor is a super. And this is the magic of this super. If you are creating the object of your class, then first it is coming to execute this constructor, but in the first statement itself it is a super. Whether you are writing or not, this is by default every time there. And
Okay.
super is calling the your super.
F class. Okay. Super classes here. Okay.
You are getting the F class constructor output also. This concept is known as constructor chain. What
Oh.
did you say? Constructor chain.
Constructor chain.
Got it?
Okay.
Looks confused? Not looks, sounds confused.
Yeah. I mean that's super concept. Okay. This is fine.
So it's
Okay.
just an enhancement in your knowledge. So just remember, every constructor first statement is super.
Okay.
Yes.
So explicitly you don't have to define it.
No, I told you it's by default. Whether you are
By default. Okay.
this note, read this line once again. The first statement.
Okay. The first statement is super. Okay.
It's not like you have to define. It's already there by default. Whether it's writing or not, you will see there is no impact
Mm-hmm.
in the output. You will still get the
Mm-hmm.
constructor. If you're writing also, still you will get F class constructor. So what is the meaning? It is by
Mm-hmm.
default there.
Okay.
What will be if nothing is there, any constructor? What will be the output?
Yeah. G class. I mean nothing. It's nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Let's run this and see. You are getting F class constructor. How?
Oh. Okay.
You forgot once again one concept called default constructor.
Okay. Actually, yeah, inheritance. Default constructor. Yeah.
Default
Okay.
constructor is already there. It's never possible to have any class in Java without constructor. So default constructor is there like this way. And I told you every constructor is having the first statement as a super.
Super. Oh.
Default 1 argument, 2 argument, 100 argument. If you get default only, you are getting the still output from the super class. So never ever think like there is no constructor in this G class. Of course, it is holding one constructor. That is default constructor. It is hidden. Default word wherever it came, make sure that it is there already. You don't need to do anything extra. And that we have discussed during the constructor. Yes or no?
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Clear now?
Yeah.
Any more question?
No.
Shall we proceed further?
Yeah, sure.
So just related to this constructor, we have another concept called interface. Then after I will come the real-time example where we use this concept. Just concentrate the another topic called interface.
Hmm.
So what you found in the abstract class, we can still keep unimplemented and implemented method, but we are not achieving the 100% abstractness. What is the 100% abstractness?
Yeah,
100%
multi-level. Yeah.
100% abstractness in the sense you should not allow to use defined method or implemented method. So try to read this line. In abstract class, we are not achieving 100% abstractness because of implemented method. Because of implemented method. Just a moment.
Yeah.
Let me check my teaming is working or not.
Okay.
So let me just just my manager is there. Okay. So in abstract class, we are not achieving the 100% abstractness because of it's holding the implemented method. I don't want implemented method. I want only unimplemented method. That's the reason Java people has introduced the interface. Or we can say not only for
It's a class
definition
with
or to achieve the multiple,
multi-level. Triple. Okay.
not multi-level,
Oh, yeah. Multiple inheritance.
inheritance. We require interface. So it is just like a class, but it is not having any implemented method. You can compile it, but we can run this. We can run this interface. Okay, I will open the program, then I will ask you. Fine. So this is the definition and how to create interface. Go to this SRC, right click. Usually you have to go new and class, right? Hello.
Yeah.
So what
Seeing
how we
this.
are creating class? SRC right click new class,
Okay.
but just down the class you will see the interface.
Okay.
Now
Interface.
name
Okay.
this interface, not the class. So again, if you'll ask you
Okay.
interface name, you can give just like a class name, and after that you will see you will get the interface like this way. Instead of class
Okay.
name, you have a interface method. That's all.
Uh-huh. Okay.
As I told you, it's not allow the definition part. So if you write like this way, you will get an error. Just a moment, I'm getting on call, Mr. Sujinta. I will be back.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Hello, Sudhindra.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I told you, interface is not supporting the definition or implemented method. So you can see here, I'm getting compiled error. So we should not allow to define any method. You have to always put declared method or unimplemented method. Fine.
Okay.
Now, my question is to you: can we run the interface just like abstract class? You've seen in abstract class we have kept main method and we have run that. Just like that, we can run the interface.
The interface to run anything you need to have a main method.
We will put main method, no problem.
Yeah.
Then we can run.
Interface A. Yeah. Once you have the main method, we should be able to run.
No, boss, we can't do that because main method is looking for definition, and just now I have seen definition part is not allowed in interface.
Oh, okay.
We can put main method itself. It's not possible to put main method.
Oh, okay.
Main method is not there. We can't run this. So make sure that interface is only for unimplemented method.
Okay.
One more difference you can notice here. In abstract, every method should be a abstract, right? But here,
Yeah.
even given abstract, still I'm not getting error. What is the meaning of this thing? Meaning is very simple. By default, every method of interface is public and abstract, whether you are writing or not. This is optional. It's by default there.
Oh, okay.
But in abstract class, you have to write manually. You have to write public, then it will be public. You have to write abstract, then only you can write the declared method. But in interface, it is optional. Whether you are writing or not, every method is public and abstract.
Abstract. Okay.
Clear? Now, so far you have seen how to create interface and how it's different from abstract class. What is the first point? Instead of class, we have interface, and here we one more point, we can't create object of interface also. Just like abstract class,
Oh,
we can create
okay.
interface object also, but we can
Uh-huh.
still run abstract class by keeping the main method because it's supporting the both implemented and unimplemented. But interface we can't run. Why? Because it is supporting only unimplemented method. Yes or no?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I have created a normal class, and this class is trying to inherit the interface. So, for inheriting the one class to interface, I mean one class to another class, which keyword you have used?
Extends.
Extends. But here you have to use the implements
Oh,
keyword.
okay. Implements A.
Instead of extend, the keyword should be used for interfaces implement. Now, contract is same just like abstract class. Whatever rule was for abstract class, whatever method is unimplemented, you have to override here. Same rule is applicable here also. That is the reason you are getting error. So how many methods we have here? Void test and
Two
void
methods.
test one. So first is public void test. Yes or no? You have to define this. And another one is void
Void test one.
test one. We have did this, but still we are getting error, right? Check it out.
Mm.
Get override, right? Two method is there. One is public void test,
Yeah.
another one is void test one, but still I'm getting error. Why? If you go to this error, it will tell you make this method as a public, but there is no public, right? There is no public here.
Okay.
Is there no public here?
Yeah.
Just now I
But
told
by default, that is
yes, every method of interface is by default public and abstract, so don't dependent whether it's written or not. And that is the reason compiler is
correct.
saying to you, you are not able to see there, but internally there is a public, and the method overriding rule change this as a public.
Okay.
So in abstract class, public you will write, then method will be public. But here
Mm-hmm.
it's not depends on you. You have one
Okay.
method
Okay.
for public and same abstract also. That is the reason for second method I'm not writing abstract, compilation is success. But in the case of abstract class, until you will not write abstract keyword, compilation will be not success. Got it?
Okay.
Now, similarly, I have created another C.Java as a interface. It is also holding one method called test3. Yes or no?
Yeah.
What is hidden here?
Public
And
on abstract.
yes.
Abstract.
So far you have seen one class can extend maximum one class, right? But if it
Yeah.
is a case of implements interface, then you can go for more than one interface also, and that is the multiple inheritance.
Okay. Okay.
Understand
B is
that?
extending A and C.
Yes. But you are getting error because in the C also you have one unimplemented method, that also you have to take care. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes. So multiple inheritance is possible in the case of interface, not in the case of abstract class.
Okay. So if C has the same method, let's say test1, in that case,
Okay. Let's keep test one. So at the end, you are going to call the definition wala function, right? Whether we are
correct.
calling anyhow declaration? No, declaration is never going to come. You have to create object of B class and then after you will call the test one.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, you have only one method inside that. When you will create a object for this B class, according to the requirement, sometime it will be treated as a class method and sometime it will be treated as a C class method. Still confusion is not
Okay.
there because in this B class we have only one test1 method. We are not calling the a.java test1 method or c.java test1 method
C.
because both have declared
Okay.
and declared method is never going to be called. We are calling only
Uh,
main method and that is only one inside my B class. So there is a confusion? There's no confusion. There is no ambiguity. Business logic will be changed.
okay.
You must try this, experiment this, you will understand it when I will cover the polymorphism to you. Polymorphism will make you
Okay.
understand how this is working, sometime for A class, sometime for C.java, A and C, etc.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Got it? But of course,
Okay.
the problem with the multiple inheritance was duplicate method was coming into child class. That is not happening here. It's not allowed to
Okay.
open the two time test one for one time for if you are thinking it is also a test one, then let me go for two time test one. It is not possible because duplicate methods are not allowed, that we have seen during the method overloading. It is not possible.
Okay.
The method will be single here. According to your requirement, sometime it will be treated as a class A interface method, sometime it will be treated as a C class test one.
Okay.
Getting the point or not?
Got it.
Yes. So this is the interface case. Not only that, if you are interested, here what we have did, B class is explicitly implementing with the A also and C also. If you are interested, you
Mm-hmm.
can go like this way also. One interface
Okay.
can extend another interface also, and in B.Java simply go for C, not for A. So what I did, I made a connection of C with the A. So whatever A interface was having these two methods, that is came to C, and directly C is implemented to B. So either you can go for separate or either you can make a link for one interface to another interface. Hello,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
are you confused?
Okay. B.
See here.
Okay. So C. I mean.
Hmm.
Okay. C is okay. Creating interface. Okay.
Interface is inheriting another interface.
Okay.
A is also interface. No? See here.
Okay.
Initially the scene was like this way,
Okay.
comma C, like this way. But what I did now, instead of going separate, I made it a multi-level kind of thing.
Okay.
A to C and C to D.
Okay. Yeah. This is your regular implementation. Okay.
That is both are possible according to requirement.
Okay.
Both, no problem.
Okay.
Before that, you have to override all these three methods. Do not override these three methods. You will get error because C is having one method and it is implemented
Oh yeah.
A, so already.
Unimplemented method.
So you have to go to this error marks. It will tell you have to override the three methods: one for test and two for A and one for B. Yes or no?
Yes.
Again, interface can hold only unimplemented method, and all methods are by default abstract and public. Interface cannot have main method because it is implemented, and main method is not allowed the implemented method, so we can't run interface. We can't create object of interface also, and we can't keep constructor also inside the interface. You have seen in the abstract class, we can keep constructor, right? Why? Because it was allowing the definition. But if you put
Of
constructor like this way, again you are trying to put the definition, and what interface is saying, I will not allow the,
defined constructor. Yeah.
it is completely, that's the reason I told you it's 100% abstract. Only
Okay.
declaration. Got it? So here is one small rule
Yeah.
you need to remember. That rule will help you actually. See here. Class to class, which keyword you have used?
Extends.
Class to interface.
Okay. Implements.
Interface to interface.
Yeah, it's extend only.
And interface to class.
It should be the same. I mean, extends only.
It's not possible. It's not
Not.
possible.
Oh.
Think why it's not possible? Because class is having definition, right?
Okay.
When interface is inheriting the class, then that definition will try to come to interface. And what interface is saying? I will not allow the definition. Yes or no?
Okay.
So definition part, if you do like this, if any interface is trying to access the property of class, it's not possible because class is having definition. And according to inheritance rule, the definition will try to come to the interface, and interface is saying I will not allow the definition. That's the reason it is.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is the concept of interface. Nothing is much more than this. I'm at the point where I can deliver the application for abstract class interface where we are actually using this. But before that, we need to know the difference between these two because it's very, very important. Many time interviewer is asking what is difference between abstract class and interface. Try to see the difference here.
Yeah.
I hope if you learn these two topics good way, then you can easily get the difference. Tell me what is the first difference in your mind? See here. We
Can't
can
extend more
use
than one
the
class.
class in abstract class, but in interface we cannot. This is the first difference. Yes or no?
Yeah.
We can keep constructor
Yeah.
inside abstract class, but we can't in interface.
Interface.
In abstract class, both method implemented and unimplemented.
Unimpl
Interface only unimplemented.
Okay.
In abstract class, methods are not by default public and abstract, but in interface. Yes or no? Methods are by default public and abstract, no? You no need to write public and abstract
Correct.
together. Yes, yes, yes. We are not writing properly. What is the next? In abstract class, we are using extends keyword, but in interface, we are using the
Implements.
this point. I will tell you later. We
Oops.
will cover the final. Okay. In abstract class,
Okay.
keywords are not by default public, static, and final, but in interface, it is by default public, static, and so. Whether any doubt in this topic? See, it's quite
Uh,
for you. It might be the bit lengthy, but I hope you will listen this video once again. Then definitely you will understand everything properly. Still, if you are not able to understand, we'll have a session tomorrow also. No problem. You just ask me. If there is a problem, you can
yeah.
discuss that. Okay.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
and this difference also you have to keep it in a mind. Concept wise, you have to be very clear. So, do you want to me cover the real time example for these two?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, so if we are using this concept, extends or this one, so s- uh, there will be no, a cyclic lock.
Give one scenario.
Let's say if A extends B, B extends C, and C extends A, so all these are in sometimes.
That's what I did here. See here. C is extending A, right? And again B is extending C also, implementing C also and A also. That's
Yeah,
easy.
A is not doing anything, right?
So A is one interface, C is one interface.
Yeah.
One interface is implemented by another interface. This B class have to only implement now C, but what it is doing? A and C both, right?
Okay.
Then here kinds of cyclic, isn't it?
hmm Now, in this case, if A extends C,
A extends C. Okay,
yeah,
let's go for this also.
yeah, extends, yeah, it's possible.
A extends C.
Yeah, so C has some undefined methods.
It is not allowed. It's not possible. See,
Oh, hierarchical type is inconsistent. So, what is this basically?
that cyclic part you are talking about is not possible.
Okay, okay,
Got it?
okay. That lock will never happen.
No.
Okay.
Now that. If I remove that, then that.
hmm
It's not possible. Got it?
Okay. Yeah. Got
Anything else?
it. No, I mean maybe with examples, maybe it will be more clear.
Okay. Now, you know about RBI?
Yeah.
Who's RBI?
I mean it's a governing bank.
Hmm. Good. You have money with you, right? You know everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Assume the scenario. It's RBI is the Reserve Bank of India, and it's our regulatory bank, which is controlling the all the another banks of India, right?
Uh-huh.
Every bank, whichever is running in India or in every country, there is a central government bank. So every bank have to report that bank. What is the interest rate? How many credit card they have sold? How many loan they have sold? What is the assets they are holding? What is the balance sheet? How many liabilities they are holding? That every report should go to the RBI. Yes or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
Since I'm in a banking product company, so I'm a analytics company, so I have a bit good knowledge of banking, how the reports are going, because our product is only to help the other banks to generate a report for RBI. But yeah,
hmm
with this, try to understand the very lower level thing.
Okay.
Assume RBI wants to know which bank is holding how many rate of interest. This is RBI, and another bank you can consider like City Bank, you can consider like HDFC Bank, You can consider like ICICI Bank. You can consider many banks. All banks I'm not going to list out, but yeah,
Okay.
some of them. All banks are there.
Yeah.
RBI is here on the top of these all banks. They want to know how many rate of interest are there. So assume this C, that is Citibank is using some another methods called test method for returning the rate of interest. This SBFC
Mm-hmm.
using the XYZ method. ICICI Bank is using the some another method. Punjab National Bank is using some another method. So every bank is using different methods for rate of interest. So what
Mm-hmm.
RBI have to do every time they have to ask to these all banks, hey, I want to know your rate of interest. Can you tell me what are the methods I have to call from your application? So what you see, RBI is dependent on all these banks. Yes or no? I
Yeah.
have to ask to every bank, tell me your method name, then I will call that method and I will come to know what is the rate of interest going on in your bank. It's just a assumption. It's not like in real time, but assume.
Yeah.
I'm making a scenario here. Extend like the same. Now, RBI is never wants to do that. He never wants to dependent on their another bank. So he came to some organization, some software company, and he told like that, look, what I want, instead of asking the all banks what is the rate of interest inside your bank, I can track at any point of time without confirming the any bank. So I want to make that software. Then the software engineer like you and me, what they decide, they have to design one pattern. So before starting any software or any application, we are designing the pattern. How this requirement can be captured under this application. So the analytics, the architects actually, they have decided, they have designed one pattern to handle this situation of RBI. Now see what he did. He make this RBI as a interface. What he made? RBI as a
Okay. He creates.
interface. And he made
Okay.
a method here with the name of rate of interest method. Okay, this is named rate of interest method, and he made this method as a declaration because interface is always having a declared method which is
Declaration.
same. Nothing is inside their body. It is just a template. Now,
Okay.
since the architect is knowing every bank have to access the properties of RBI, their tragedy is to access all rules, regulations from RBI. So every bank have to inherit from the RBI. Yes or no? Are you getting a point or not?
Okay.
So doesn't matter whatever bank is running in India, that all bank have to access the properties of RBI for everything. Now,
Okay.
once this Citibank class has extend with this RBI, then what he have to do? What is the rule of interface? This Citibank tragedy is now to override this rate of interest method. Yes or no?
Yeah. Because it will have its own.
Because we have seen if any child class is
That's
implementing the interface, they have to override the method, right?
overrated. That's true.
And he is going to write their own rate of interest 7.5. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Similarly, the HDFC Bank have to do. Similarly, the ICICI Bank have to do. Similarly, the Punjab National Bank have to do. And whatever bank is there, that all banks have to do the same job. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So template is created by RBI and business logic is different from each and every bank. Let's say rate of interest method of ICICI is varying from the another bank. He has
Correct.
decided the same method and he has given 8.5. Similarly, international bank. Now RBI is very sure in every bank my method is there, that is rate of interest. They can't imagine without rate of interest method. So instead of asking to all banks, what is your rate of interest rate? What is your rate of interest method? What is your rate of interest method? He will directly create the Citibank class object and he will call the rate of interest method, and he can come to know what is the rate of interest going on inside the Citibank. You want to know the
Citibank. Okay.
ICICI Bank? You will create the ICICI class object and you will call the rate of interest method, and you can come to know what is the rate of interest method going on inside the ICICI. Now think, if interface is not there, then whether you are having any option to force your child class to override that method, then they're independent, right? Whether they can or they're not. If it is a normal class, then you can't force the another class, you have to inherit method. Since it is an
Mhm.
interface, that is the reason they are forced to override this method.
Okay. Yeah.
So here we require interface. Without interface or abstract class, it's never possible to design any pattern or to design any software application. Everywhere we need interface or abstract class. Still, you are not very clear where to use abstract class and where to use interface. I will tell you that scenario also, but now you understood what is the purpose of this interface. Why we
Yes.
are forcing our child class to follow me, even though business logic I'm not giving. This is the business logic. Every method is having
Okay.
same method. Every bank is having same method, rate of interest, rate of interest, rate of interest. But business logic
Uh-huh.
is different from each bank. So RBI is not bothering to what is the method inside the all bank. He will call always rate of interest method because he's very sure in every bank my method is there. Yes or no?
Okay.
It's possible once
Yeah.
you are going to make yourself as a interface.
Okay.
Here,
Yeah.
clearly we'll see the example, then you will be understanding better. In abstract class itself, I have given one folder under the package called yes. Now I'm just going to give you where to use interface and where to use rate of interest method. Sorry, interface and where to use abstract class. Currently, we was having the only one method like this one. Yes or no? Get rate of interest method.
Correct.
Whatever design I have created just now, I told you make it as an interface and give one unimplemented method like this one.
Okay.
But now my requirement is to get the calculation. There is some formula. That formula is applicable for each and every bank. Only they have to pass the rate of interest method and they will get one result for calculation of their
Mm.
final report.
Okay.
And here we require definition also and the declaration also. You can still make it as an interface and make this method as a unimplemented. Now
Unimplemented. Okay.
every bank have to override these two methods. This formula is never going to change, but still every bank have to write this method. Rate of interest method is changing for each bank. Yes or no?
Okay.
That's the reason I made it as a unimplemented. But this
Okay.
formula is fixed for every bank. Only they have to pass the rate of interest method. So in this case, why I will force my child class to override these two methods? Let them override only get rate of interest method, and remaining functionality he can take from the central bank itself. He will call this method and he will get the result. So here you will see, then we want unimplemented features also and implemented features also. So in this case, we have to go for a abstract class rather than interface. But including, okay, no worry. Again, I will come on that. Before that, let me give you another example. Let's assume
Okay.
you are a software engineer and one showroom person has came. One person is came and he's saying, I'm running on showroom and I have a two-wheeler,
Mhm.
three-wheeler, four-wheeler, five-wheeler, six-wheeler. I just want to know the cost of each wheeler, doesn't matter if it's a two-wheeler or four-wheeler or n-wheeler, and speed of each and every vehicle. So their requirement is to know the speed and cost. Doesn't matter it's a two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, whatever. Try to understand the question first. I am not sleeping, I hope.
No, no, no. Carry on.
So that
The
person
speed and the cost of the vehicles. Okay.
and he came to you and he's saying to you, just give me one software for this. So at any point of time, from my counter, I can access these two features of any vehicle. Whenever I want two-wheeler, I can get these two features. Now again, you have to think
Okay.
how to design a pattern from this. So first point you have to start thinking is what are the common features you want from each vehicle. What is the common features?
The cost and the
Speed. Cost and speed.
speed. Okay.
This is common for each vehicle, doesn't matter two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or whatever. So
Okay.
now you have to create one interface with the name of vehicle. Check it out. What I did? I created one interface with the name of vehicle.
Vehicle. Okay.
And whatever common features you want, that all features method I have kept here. Cost, speed. This is the common. And doesn't matter it's a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, everything is vehicle. That's the reason I have given the common name here. Vehicle and
Mm-hmm.
correct.
Okay.
Now
That's true.
I'm not going to create a number of vehicle, a number of four-wheelers. I'm just going to create two class, four-wheeler and two-wheeler. Now
Mm-hmm.
you have to create one four-wheeler or two-wheeler, whatever class I have created. Doesn't matter it's a two-wheeler, but it is a vehicle. So what you have to do?
Okay. So
You have to
implement that vehicle class. Okay.
and one
And
thing,
override
what I
that.
have to do? We have to override these two methods. That's what
Override
I have
that.
to do. Now
Okay.
the two-wheeler can write their own cost and two-wheeler can write their own speed.
Speed. Yeah. Three wheeler. Yeah. It depends
You're
on
going to
vehicle.
create a four-wheeler. Four-wheeler also have to do the same. They also have to implement the vehicle
Correct.
and he can write their own cost and their own speed. Now you can imagine it is having n vehicle, n number of vehicle, everyone have to do the same job. Yes or no?
Correct.
One design pattern is ready. Now I can give one manager class to him to control these things. Now he want to know the two-wheelers details. Then what he is going to do? He is going to create a two-wheeler class object and calling the cost and speed method. He will
Okay.
get the complete two-wheeler details. At the same point, he want
Correct.
to know the four-wheeler details. He will create a four-wheeler class object and he will call the cost and speed method. So he have to not bother about what are the method inside the different vehicle. He is very sure every class is having these two methods. Let me call only these two.
Correct.
And this is possible only you make it as a interface, just like RBI.
Okay.
So what I did, here I replaced the rate of interest method like a cost. You can create the same program,
Correct.
homework for you. The RBI wala picture you have to create by yourself. This is very simple. Instead of RBI, you have to give vehicle. Sorry, instead of
Vehicle.
vehicle, you have to give RBI. Instead of get of rate of interest method, you have sorry. Instead of cost method, you have to give the rate of
Rate
interest.
of interest.
Instead of two-wheeler, you have to create SBI class. Instead of four-wheeler, you have to create the City Bank or
I see.
Canara Bank
Okay.
this way and do the same job. Every bank have to write here, my rate of interest method is this one, my rate of interest method is this one.
Okay.
Now manager class, if you
So
come,
manage
you will get the
RBI.
complete details here.
Okay.
Can you see the details of this two-wheeler?
Yeah. Got it.
This is the main purpose of your abstract class.
Abstract and okay.
Got it?
Yeah. With this example, it's
Stay
pretty
tuned.
clear.
I will be coming on this program once again and I will cover the polymorphism where we will see by one time calling of this two method, how can I call the all methods, all classes. We no need to write the first with n number of procedures. In one shot, we can get the all flow. But currently, for your understanding purpose, you can see this diagram and pattern how it works.
Okay.
Now, at the same time, assume one a schoolmaster has came to you or a school director has came to
Mm.
you, and he says,
Okay.
I have a requirement like I want to know the information of my student. I want to know the information of my teachers and school information and address. These two requirements he has.
No, pardon, information of?
Information of a student and address of a student. Information of a school, address of a school. Information of teachers, address of teachers. So how many requirement he's having? Two basically.
Three.
Information
Okay. Two
requirement is two.
information and okay.
So I want you first of all create one interface with the name of information
Information.
and put one two unimplemented method here
Details and address.
and address.
Three classes. Okay.
Three
Student,
classes,
teacher, and
student,
school.
teachers, and a school. And implement this
Correct.
interface to here and write their hard coded things like a student's details is this one, address is this one, teacher's name is this one.
Yeah.
Can you do this?
Yeah. Yeah. I can go it now.
So just go for the reference here and just create this task for you. We'll see the next class, another topic called package and finance. Can
Okay.